Hi, this is Suzanne Williams with Essential Oils and Health Matters, Essential Oils, Health Matters, and Living the Wholesome Life. And we are on week 16, day 1 of our positive, peaceful growth affirmations that we are doing every day, Monday through Friday. And we are following Dr. Susan Lawton's positive, peaceful growth calendar that you can buy at Aroma Tools or Oil Life. If you haven't bought it yet, I would definitely recommend buying it. I would recommend it, stocking up, giving it to some of your friends for birthday gifts or whatever. I love, love, love the book. Okay, so we're on a week 16. And the affirmation for this week is, I am telling my own story in a new way. So, thinking about that affirmation, I thought, as we're trying to tell our stories in new ways to ourselves and to others, we need to think about how we've told them in the past. Like, what have we loved about how we've told our stories in the past? Have we been authentic? If so, let's praise that in us. Have we perhaps put ourselves down in our story or made ourselves less in our story? For example, maybe in the past we've told ourselves and others, oh, I'm so stupid, or oh, I'm so not pretty, right? And I think all of those old ways, if you've ever done that in the past, and many people have, I think all those old ways of putting ourselves down can just be a thing of 2019, or maybe, yesterday. I'll just say yesterday because we still have a little bit. It's the 30th, so we still have 2 more days of 2018, and I don't want you to waste another day telling yourself that. I don't want us to waste another day telling ourselves that, or telling others that, because I just don't think that it's true. Caleb, can you get me some water, please? Anyway, so I want us to spend a little bit of time today thinking about how we tell our own story to us, or how we tell our own story to others. Maybe some awful things have happened to us in the past, and we kind of have this victim mindset where we think of ourselves as the victim. And when we are the victim, thank you, hon. When we are the victim, we give up our power, right? So, I can't even remember who said this, but he was in a concentration camp in Nazi Germany, and he said, the freedom that we never lose is the freedom to decide how to think about things, and the freedom to decide how we act. Like, even in concentration camps, people could be kind. People could choose hope. People could choose forgiveness. People could choose faith. So anyway, so if we've told ourselves that we're in the victim in the past, let's just say, I'm kind of done. However that victim role served me, I think that there's some other things that can serve me better. I think being powerful can serve me better. And I'm going to take my power back, and I'm going to change what I can change. And so, anyway, let's just all do some thinking on how have we told our story in the past, and how do we want to tell our story in the future. Okay, I'm reminded of 2 stories that I want to share with you. So, I was listening to this woman who did the study on, is it better to praise intelligence or better to praise effort? And all studies show that it's better to praise effort to help people go on to achieve great things. And but she was talking about a school that when they gave a grade, if the student hadn't mastered the material to a certain extent, instead of giving them a failing grade, instead of writing a little F on their report card, they gave the grade not yet. And she was just saying those two, that little simple change, that little simple tweak to how grades were presented went from a fixed, oh my goodness, I'm a failure, set mentality, right? To a growth mentality. Oh, I just haven't got it yet. They know I can get it. They know I can get it. I just haven't got it yet. Right? So the power of yet. You know what? Let's give ourselves the gift of the yet. I haven't learned to cook good yet. I haven't learned to keep my house spotless yet. Maybe I haven't learned to keep my temper yet. Maybe I haven't learned to provide a good income for my family yet. Maybe I haven't learned to ski yet. Whatever it is that you are trying to do, let's keep in the growth mentality in 2020, and let's just invest in the power of yet. Anyway. Okay, and then the other thing, I had one other story. Okay, so I was at a conference, and it was down at BYU, their Education Week. If you haven't gone, woohoo, oh my gracious, if you love learning, it is a smorgasbord of classes. You are going to love it on every single topic under the sun, it seems. Anyway, but I was taking this class on, maybe it was love and forgiveness. And it was taught by this woman from Africa who has founded like a kindness movement, even though there's a lot of major things going on and peoples fighting against peoples and anyway, and hurting people and killing people and stuff like that. She started this movement for love, and when she introduces herself, they're like, "Hey, my name's Mary. What's your name?" And she's like, "I am Love." Now that's not really her real name, right? Her real name isn't Love, but that's how she is choosing to define herself. She's Love. She's writing her own story. She's telling her own story in the way she wants it told. So, if you want to be, I am courage, I am peace. I am whatever it is. I don't know that we want to go and introduce ourselves that way. Maybe we do. And if you want to do, hey, more power to you, or more power to us. But in our minds, as we are introducing ourselves, as we are thinking about ourselves, we can think of those names, right? The names that we have for us. And we can start telling our story to ourselves and to other people in different ways, in better ways, in more honest and authentic ways. And I'm just so excited about this affirmation for the week. I'm telling my story in a new way. So let's think about how we told the story in our old ways. Let's think about how we want to tell the story in our new ways. If you've told your story that you're ugly, well, you know what? In 2020 and this week, the last few days of 2019, we are going to be telling our story that we are beautiful, that God made us beautiful, that we are beautiful in God's eyes, and He is all-knowing. We have told ourselves that we're too stupid to do things. Yeah, that's not going to be us this year. That's not going to be us this week. This week we're going to say, I have the intelligence to do what I need to do. I'm reminded of the Ben Carson story when he was one of the least successful, I'll just say it that way, one of the least successful students in his school, and was, when he got like 1 or 2 right on a test, he was congratulating himself because that was a step up. And his mom over and over again told him, you know what, you have everything in here that you need. It's all there. And he rose to that level because he believed it. Okay, so that's the affirmation for the week. I am telling my story in a new way. And then the affirmation for today is, I am telling my own future success story. So as I started thinking about that, I'm like, well, then we need to define ourselves success. We don't need to buy into the world's definitions that you're a success if you're super powerful, if you are super rich, if you're super strong, whatever. Christ got tempted with wealth and power and fame or whatever, and he shut those temptations down, hands down, right? He didn't listen to those temptations. So we don't need to buy into those ways of defining ourselves. We can decide for ourselves what means success to me today. And who is it? It's one of my my sister's favorite people to listen to. I'll think of his name. He's a motivational speaker. Maybe it's Jim Rohn. Anyway, but he basically says you live your life before you live it, right? That means you plan your life on how you're going to do it. You're intentional about how you go about your day, and then you live your life that way. You plan your life and you follow your plan. And do we have some things that come into our lives every day that we don't plan for? Yes. But if we think about, I want to today I'm going to face the world with love. Today I'm going to face the world with courage. Today I'm going to face the world with authenticity and vulnerability. I'm going to speak my truth. And whatever it is that you're trying to do, we can change. So we can preset ourselves for success. I have to tell you, like when you listen to Olympic athletes, what do they do in their mind's eye? They see them, scoring that football, I'm going to say goal, whatever, through the basket, the points. And the golfers see themselves, hitting that ball into the hole. They see everything they see where they want the ball to end up. They see everything first. They create it in their minds first. So let's do that. Let's create successful stories in our mind first. Maybe you've always had problems, I don't know, on a math test. Maybe you've always had problems when you go into certain social situations. In our mind's eye, let's create what we want to happen, and let's see how we can help make it happen. So, but anyway, let's start telling our own future success stories. Okay, as I'm thinking about and not letting other people define what is success, and not letting other people define how we are defined. So I love musicals, and one of my favorite musicals is The Sound of Music. And there you have Maria von Trapp, and the people in her, she's a nun, right? Or she's a wannabe nun. She's going through a novice that's kind of going through so that she could become a full-fledged nun, I think. Anyway, so, but people are singing a song about her, and they're singing a song about how awful she is, and she does this wrong, and she does that wrong, and the whole song is called How Do You Solve a Problem Called Maria, right? But Maria doesn't define herself that way. She doesn't allow other people to define her. She stays true to who she is, and that changes the world in many, many ways. Instead of thinking of herself as a problem, she's confident, and she's capable, and she sings songs like that. Okay, I'm reminded when Captain Von Trapp is trying to shame her and into submission in the way she's acting, and he says, "Were you this much trouble at the Abbey?" In an attempt to shame her to changing her ways. And I mean, who knows, but that's my take on it. And she says proudly and authentically, "Oh no, Captain, I was so much more." You know what? She wasn't ashamed of who she was. Let's not be ashamed of who we are. God gave us all different missions. My mission is totally different from yours. We shouldn't be the same because we have different missions to fulfill in life. And so don't let anyone shame you when you are going about quietly or loudly fulfilling your mission. We're not going to let anyone shame us as we're trying to go about prayerfully and kindly and lovingly, hopefully, fulfilling our missions here on earth. Okay. I wanted to talk about so 2 other people in history that I love that didn't let people define who they are. They said, you know what, thank you very much. I will define who I am myself. And one of them is Florence Nightingale, who was born into a super affluent and influential society family in England. And basically, her parents' whole goal for her was to marry well. Right? But that's not what Florence Nightingale wanted. She wanted to change the world in amazing ways. And so she became a nurse when nursing was really looked down upon. And she went to war, which her parents were like, don't do that. But she went into war situations, became a war nurse, and changed how the world thinks about nursing. Now nursing is something that's esteemed. Florence Nightingale, she didn't let anyone else define her. She defined herself, and she changed the world. And you can too. And we can too. And the other person that I wanted to talk about was Harriet Tubman. And if you haven't seen the movie Harriet, do your own due diligence on the movie, see what the movie's about, but I loved it. She's been one of my heroes. Harriet Tubman has been one of my heroes for her work in the Underground Railroad since I was in high school or grade school. I think one of the first biographies I ever remember reading and one of the first book reports I ever remember reading was on Harriet Tubman and the Underground Railroad. And so my husband and I went and saw the movie. We loved it. And we're going to take the whole family to see it today. It's in the Dollar Theater now. So I'm super excited about that. But people would tell Harriet, it's too dangerous. You cannot do that. I know better than you. It's too dangerous. You can't do that. And she basically said, God has put it into my heart to do this, to go and rescue people. And I think that he has the power to keep me safe. Oh my goodness, this woman's ability to listen to God was amazing. I wish I had that same ability to hear revelation, and I know that I can get to that point as I strive each day to listen and to follow God's voice. And I know you can get to that point, that as you strive to listen to and follow God's voice, you will hear his voice so much more in your life. Okay, so I think that's kind of everything. Oh, okay, really quick. I had to mention one last thing. Well, two last things on this. Well, a few actually. Anyway, so I love Little Women, and the movie's coming out, and I got to choose the book for my Ladies Neighborhood Book Club this round. And it was and I chose Little Women. I'm like, oh, this is one of my favorite books. And there were a lot of people in the group that hadn't read it yet. It is actually one on I can't remember which news agency just came out with this. But they came out with the 100 greatest novels, American novels. And Little Women is on the list, right? It was so amazing. I'll put the link in the comments. But anyway, I was listening to like a lecture on Louisa May Alcott, and this is one of the things that I loved. So her dad, Bronson Alcott, was friends with the major thinkers of his day, with Ralph Waldo Emerson and Henry David Thoreau, right? Big influential writers and philosophers. And so she knew these people too, right? Friends of her father's. And so she decided to write something. And she took it to these guys' editors. editor to see what he thought of her writing. And he read it, and he said, oh, you know what? You should stick to your teaching, because she was a school teacher at the time. And she could have believed him, right? She could have believed him. Oh my goodness, this is the editor for these famous people. He must totally know what he's talking about. I must not be good. I should probably, just give up writing and stick to my teaching. But she didn't. She chose to tell her own future success story. She chose to stick with what she felt called to do. Let's not let anyone shut us down by saying, oh, you're not good at that yet. Or you're not good at that and you never will be. Right? We're not buying. We may have bought into that in past years, but this year, we're not falling for that. We're wiser than that. This year, we are holding to our own success stories, and we're making them come true. Okay. So, as I wanted to tell you two other things. So, one is by Margaret Mead, who is an anthropologist that I have admired since I was in 6th grade. When I was in 6th grade, my parents were amazing, and I found this little thing, I think, on the ground, and it was a flyer for these books called the Value of Books, that told the story of great people through history, and they were expensive. I mean, back then they were $12 a book, which would be quite expensive back in the early 80s. And I'm like, can you please get me this book? Caleb, can you get me a Kleenex really quick? Just right on the desk. And my parents were like, can we buy? They bought me the whole set. And it changed my life, studying the lives of great people and how the obstacles that they overcame changed my life. It gave me a growth mindset that people could do great things even when no one believed. Hold on. Anyway, so this is a saying by Margaret Mead. And she says, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, that is the only thing that ever has. So I want us to, in 2020 and this week, I want us to know that we can change the world. We are powerful. We can change our environments, we can change our families, and we have the power to change ourselves. And starting with changing ourselves will influence everything else, right? Mother Teresa basically said, if you want peace on earth, go home and love your families, right? It's the small changes that mean the most. Okay, and when it comes to not letting people say that we're not enough, right? We're not going to let people say that we're not enough anymore to achieve our dreams. And so I'm reminded of, hold on, I think it's Patrick Henry. Yeah, it's Patrick Henry. I'm reminded of this speech that he gives when Britain is just like taking away right after right after right. And America has a decision. Are we going to kowtow? Are we going to let our rights be stripped from us and really go into slavery? Or are we going to stand up like men and women that we are, godly men and women, and say, nope, this isn't good, and we're changing it. We deserve good government. And Britain, oh my goodness, the powerhouse of the world, colonies around the world, like major powerhouse, right? Like almost never defeated, and people were saying, oh, Americans too weak. We can't win this fight, so let's not fight. And this is what Patrick Henry says, and I love it. So I'm just going to read to you a part of his speech. They tell us, sir, that we are weak, unable to cope with so formidable an adversary. But when shall we be stronger? Will it be next week or next year? Will it be when we are totally disarmed? When the British Guard has been stationed in every house? Shall we gather strength by irresolution and inaction? Shall we acquire the means of effectual resistance by lying supinely on our backs and hugging the delusive phantom of hope until our enemies have us bound hand and foot? Sir, we are not weak if we make proper use of those means which God hath placed in our power. 3 million people armed in the holy cause of liberty. And in such a country as that we possess, are invincible by any force which our enemy can send against us. Besides, sir, I love how respectful he is. Besides, sir, we shall not fight our battles alone. There is a just God who presides over the destinies of nations, and who will raise up friends to fight our battles for us. The battle, sir, is not to the strong alone. It is to the vigilant, the active, the brave. Okay, so, and then I'm going to skip some of his speech, and he goes on to say, the war has actually begun. The next gale that sweeps from the north will bring to our ears the clash of resounding arms. Our brethren are already in the field. Why stand we here idle? What is it that gentlemen wish? What would they have? Is life so dear or peace so sweet as to be purchased by the price of chains and slavery? Forbid it, Almighty God. I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death, right? Love Patrick Henry. He inspired a nation to know that they were strong enough, they were enough, and they would not have to fight their battles by themselves. And we didn't. America didn't, right? France came to our aid and helped us fight, and God came to our aid and helped us fight. Okay? I'm just going to say, in your life, whatever battle you are choosing to fight, I guarantee you will not be fighting it yourself. You will find friends in whatever you're trying to do. You will. And God will be in whatever you try to do. I think God is the helper of every righteous cause. Okay, so that's the affirmation for this today. I am telling my own success story, and you can be a success in the way you want to be a success. And I am telling my own story in a new way as affirmation for the week. We always have, Dr. Susan Lawton always gives us a song that pairs with our affirmations. This is a song that I actually really, really like. I've liked since I think I was in junior high school when we sang this in our high school choir. It is called The Banana Boat Song by Harry Belafonte. And I love the song. I'm not sure how it actually syncs with the affirmation, but you know what? Go on, put the song on. It's a happy, relaxing song. And maybe go through some of the other songs of Harry Belafonte. If you have a song that you are thinking of that pairs more with telling your own success story, or telling your story in a new way, let us know in the comments. The song that I would probably choose is Confidence from The Sound of Music that Maria Von Trapp sings, Julie Andrews sings, I guess, in the movie. And I have confidence in herself, right? And in God. Okay, so that you always know that we do a diffuser blend every week because we totally believe not only in the power of affirmations, not only in the power of music therapy, but we also believe in the incredible power of essential oils. And so the diffuser blend for this week, you are going to love. It is 2 drops of Vetiver, which is the oil of centering and descent. And we're going to get more into that on Tuesday. And then, so 2 drops Vetiver, it's just a super calming, relaxing oil. 2 drops of lavender, which is the oil of communication and calm. So you have calm and calm. Calm and calm. As we're learning to tell our own success stories, we have a calm oil and a calming oil, right? Super cool. And then we have lime, which, and it's Health Matters, living the wholesome to make a great day. Bye-bye.